So it's a new day and a fresh mind. Last time I got a bit frustrated at the end, so I stopped for the day. Let's recap quickly what we did. So we have the navigation bar here with the projects items, the top items at least. The right icons are here and the links. So this is the first step. We started the styling, but didn't get very far yet. And then there are the menu item buttons at the bottom. So I guess I will continue with the styling first, and then we will see how to build these buttons here. So yeah, let's. I'm not sure if we should do a commit yet. Let me check. I guess we can finish the styling first and then do a commit. And let's check out the designs again. So we're already somewhat close, but yeah, we have to set some spacing here, I guess, and then colors and also the styles of the text. So let's check first the padding here. I guess we talked already about this, 8 and 12 pixels. It's not really clear if this is the correct padding or if we should take the height of the element. So let's try it with the padding. So here's the menu item. This is the anchor, the list item. Okay, we have the padding here already. So then we have display flex, align items center. Doesn't really look like the items are centered though. That's probably because we have everything here on the list item. So display flex, that should be set on the anchor, because the icon and the text are children of the anchor. So let's see. Okay, this looks much better now. Then we should probably have some margin here at the right of the anchor. We can also already set the color. So color is gray 100, I guess. So this is gray 300, this is gray 100. Let's see. Still not sure how I get the color here. Oh yeah, it was by inspect, right? So again, so this is okay. This can be removed actually. We can check this is 12 pixels again. So currently I hard code all of these units, 12 pixels, also colors, but later we should actually move them to a style components theme. So we can reuse the same colors and spacing all over the place. So this one here is margin right, and then it's 12 pixels, I guess. Okay, now we still have this list styling. I guess we need to set that here in the navigation bar. So yeah, let's do that later. First, this the link should be not underlined. So text decoration. The autocomplete here is not the best sometimes. Okay. You can also see that we have font inter, and this is not yet installed here. So this probably is something like Times New Roman or so. We will also take care of that in a bit. So we have projects. This looks already quite okay, I would say. So this is, not sure where we should set this. 32, but I guess we can handle that later when we add the logo. Here the spacing looks really... I have a second window for this. Let's see here. It's easier to debug here. Here it looks actually better, right? So here this one has top and bottom 8 pixel. I'm not sure why it looks so different here. Let's quickly check. Okay, for now I will just ignore it. So this looks already okay. And now let's remove the list style. List.ul. None, and then we replace the UL with this. We will handle this one later, but actually we can also replace this already, so we will use the same. Okay, so let's check here again. The UL probably has some padding, so we will use I won't unset the margin yet, but padding will be 0. So this should move everything to the left now. Okay. Now we could actually use some padding here. Navigation has some padding. Looks like 16 pixel. Yeah. Okay, so let's add 0.16 pixel. Not sure. Let's see. I always confuse this. Yeah, looks right. Okay. So I think we can actually commit this already. It would be nice. Yeah, the next step I would install the fonts. So let's call this implements and styles. An and in the commit message is not really a good sign, but we'll keep it for now. Implements and styles in the upper menu. And yeah, so let's check how we can install the font. We have the font inter, I guess it was called. So the easiest thing we can do is to use Google Fonts. So in Inter, I guess, we have this one. Then not sure if we have another font. For now, we will just have this. The question now is Google Fonts. We can either download here, or we can also load it via. Let's see. Okay, so this was the download now. We can also load it via a script tag. Select styles. So here, for example, if we select some styles, it will generate a link, or we can also import it in the CSS. So we could simply add this to our document, I guess, in Next.js, and it would load all the correct fonts. Now, I'm not sure if Google Fonts is actually GDPR compliant. There are also other laws now. GDPR, so this is for Europe. Let's quickly check here. So it seems that we have a few possibilities here. Okay, so it seems that we maybe shouldn't do this, shouldn't use Google Fonts directly. Then let's check how Next.js and fonts works. So I guess this is not the correct place. Next.js and actually we can probably just add them to the public folder, and then it shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so I already downloaded the complete Inter font. And I will extract it and add it to the folder here, to the publics folder. So we have fonts. I will quickly check. So this is the README of the font. I can also show you the font here. So here it is. All styles are contained in a single file. Okay, then let's just use this. And now, since you only do that rarely. I'm not really sure. So we'll simply rename this to Inter. And now we should define the font face as it's defined here. So style components. Since we use style components, we can use the global styles, I guess. Create global style. This is v4. I hope we are on v4. Let's quickly check, just to be sure that this is not an outdated functionality. Style components. This is def dependencies. Yeah, 5. Okay. Then documentation. Let's give it a quick Google search. V5 global styles. Or check the release of V5. I'm not sure if maybe they have removed this, so global, not triggering global styles. Okay, it looks like create global styles is still part of the V5, so we can simply use that. Let's check. It's the migration guy, so okay. CSS import. So where do we actually put this? I guess in the app or the document. The app probably. Create global styles. Let's check again here. And then, all right, so you see I like copy pasting. And then we can use the really not here. So we will define the font face. And then wrap everything here in a, what's it called again? I don't know. Okay, so we will have the inter family, inter, and then we have inter TTF. Okay. Let's see if we can make that work now. And then I assume that the body in general, let's see if this is also all inter. Yes, so everything, the default font seems to be inter, and then this should be a heading. This is also inter, so maybe this is even our only font. So we can inter. So let's see if Storybook maybe needs to refresh. It still looks very much like our default font. So computed. So we still have the default font here. Not sure if we have. We still have global CSS set up here. Let's remove this actually, so we can get rid of this folder, styles, and then probably we also had here an import of this. And let's just get rid of everything here. So I will just keep this and for now. So we don't have these styles anymore. Let's see if it works now. Still doesn't seem to work. I'm not sure where this comes from. This is. Let's check the real application if this is a Storybook app issue. So localhost 3000. Yeah, here it looks better. Okay, so actually, let me go to this screen again. As you can see, this has probably the correct font family inter. So we have an issue here again with Storybook. Of course, like Storybook, we don't have these styles declared, so we would need to wrap this global style also reuse this in Storybook. Let's quickly Storybook and then So somebody else has been looking for this as well. Create global style. Require some global styles. CSS reset to be applied to the document to render all components correctly. Okay, that's probably what we need. And then in Storybook preview.js, we'll import the global style and then use decorators. Okay. So first we'll extract this. So maybe we need the styles folder again. This might make sense now. Styles, then we can extract this. Global styles.tsx. Yes, TS might be enough. And then we just let's be consistent with the naming, global style and global style here. Okay, so now we can import this. At a later point, I would also like to set up relative imports, or absolute imports actually, path aliases. We can maybe do that here later on, I'm not sure. But yeah, for now it should be okay. So let's have a quick look here again. Maybe I can actually, it's a bit annoying. So import React and the global style and then export the and then styles global style. Ah, okay, perfect. So is there anything left? I'm not sure. It looks already pretty promising. So what did we do? We installed the interfont here. Interfont. One thing that I would like to check is, again, since you don't do that very often, I'm not sure if this one here, font family inter, if this is so correct. Let's see. CSS define font. So CSS Tricks is always a great resource. Okay, CSS and then font family fallback. I think we can just define sans serif. Use whatever you've got for the generic keyword sans serif. Okay. Okay, this should be safer. So this is not only uses. Okay. Now the next step. Let's see. We have this now in place. We need the interactiveness here, the highlight of the current active menu item here, and we have these two. Both of those should be buttons. So currently they have the same styling as the menu item, so we could reuse that, but they have click handlers, so these shouldn't be anchor tags, I guess, but something else. Let's see if it's actually on click. So this is a good resource. No, I'm doubting that this is good for accessibility. And here on click events, anchor elements are often abused as fake buttons. Yeah, this is. Okay, use a button instead. So the question is, how do we use the button here? So we have two options, I would say. One is we reuse the menu item here, and then instead of the href, which is a required prop at the moment, we can make that optional and also pass on click handler, and then the menu item component decides whether it renders as button or as an anchor tag. Now, like, this use case is a bit limited, so we only have the anchor tag and the click, the button as behavior. So this could be valid, but in general, if you have more complicated components, then overloading them with like different behavior can become really like the components become really complex, and it's not easy to understand at a certain point. Here, as I said, the use case is really limited, so these have limited props. I don't expect anything to change much here, so I would say it's okay to overload them just to reuse the same styling. So let's see how that would work. We would make this href here optional, and then have an onClick, which is a function. Oh, it's not TypeScript. So I don't expect, like, we don't need the event here, and then we don't need return value. So href and then we would have on click. So now this actually starts to become a bit more complicated here. Because we have this link, so we have the next link, and the next link expects type string undefined. Yeah, so this is a required parameter. So what we would need to do now would be something like this. So href, and then like either render this or render button. So now it actually seems a bit ridiculous to introduce this much complexity. I would rather menu item and then rename this to something like this, menu item link. And also rename this to menu item link. Make this required again, and then let's copy paste this menu item. Let's clean this up. So like this, and then have this one on click. Let's fix menu item button. Sidebar navigation, so this should be menu item link, menu item link. Not sure. Okay, works again. Now we have the menu item button, so we just remove this. Should be button. Okay, so this looks fine. Let's close some tabs here. So of course we will need to change the styles here, but menu item button. Rename this. Then the great thing about the named exports is that they will be easy to, the autocomplete can easily make use of that. So collapse, and then we can on click, and then just for now have an alert support. So the icon is still missing. I will need the icons here. Actually, I guess I have them already. So this is the icon source. Now let's check what the name was. So this was support, and then we have arrow left. Okay. Okay, yeah. as I expected, we need to change the button styles here. Let me quickly check button CSS reset. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Should use normalize. Normalize CSS. Start normalize. Not sure if this is actually maintained or not. It looks like v5. But we can also use this probably. Standard details contribution. So I'm not sure if we should just style. Okay. Yeah, so here they import it to. We can also do this, right? Okay. Anyways, let me use this one. And then we can use create. Yeah, that's probably better. So we have the global style already here. And now we just do this. And then global style. Okay, it's easy. Okay, let's add this quickly. separate commit. .css and then I'm still not closer to my goal, of course. CSS button reset. I'm not sure if we need that actually. But since this is like this is a multi-browser thing, somebody else might have come up with something. Okay. Text line these things, and outline none. Okay, so I want to reset some styles here. Let's see what we need. Border none, margin 0, padding 0. Color. Set this font. Okay. Okay, let's see. So this has begun. Background transparent. Yes, we need that. Okay, this looks already pretty good. Guess we can remove these. Reset button styles or remove default button styles. Okay, now we need the cursor. Okay, support collapse. Okay, so basically what we did here is copy paste some styles. Now of course we have duplicate styles, but I think these are two components. It's not super important to have the same. Yeah, should be good enough for now. So let's create another commit. Adds bottom menu items as buttons. Okie doke. So now we kind of have this. We need to position this later. Actually, yeah, let's add the logo first and then handle the positioning here. So here's the logo. I already downloaded them, I guess, the SVGs. So let's add that here. So const logo. We can use an image tag. And we can add this here. Source. So this was icons. And then I guess logo large SVG. Okay, perfect. So now we have the padding here, but actually we can move this to the parent, I guess. So we have the same padding for everything. Not sure what happened here. Okay, we need to reset the padding here. Padding 0. Okay, so these items have some padding and the image needs the same. So let's check the menu link. It has a padding of. Let's see if we can do it like this. Okay, so the apexels we do need to change in a bit. Because we have 24 at the top and then 32, 24 at the bottom and 32 at the top. So 32 pixel and then 24 pixel. Okay, so let's check. Now this has also some margin. I'm not sure if we need that. So I have a small measurement tool here just to check approximately. It's now 52 pixel spacing, and let's see what we have here. So this is 24 plus 13.5. So the spacing is of course like, it's not very, doesn't seem to be the adhere to the spacing guide or something. Like 8 pixel, 13.5 is not very usual here, I would say. But anyways, so we have 24 here, so something like 36 pixel. So we would actually need to remove the margin here as well, and then we should be fine. Yeah, so more or less at least. We can check that later with a pixel perfect extension. But for now, this should be okay. So we have the logo. And now we need to position these at the bottom. So the sidebar navigation seems to have 32 pixel padding at the bottom, and then there are the buttons. Let's see. So the easiest way to do this is, I guess, with display flex and flex direction columnways. Okay, at least. So this brings this problem. So list const linked list equals, and then now we can extend the list that we defined up here, and we can assign it flex 1. Let's see if this works. Yeah. See, and now the navigation also needs some padding at the bottom. So the top padding, I'm not sure if that's correct. Oh, we have the margin here, so actually we can do it like this, then padding 32 pixel, then we should be fine. So this is the view height. Okay, so the padding seems to be, let's quickly check if that's true. The padding seems to add to the view height. Should actually be 2 times. Yeah, now it looks as expected. Not sure if this is the best way, but I guess it should be fine. So now we have the problem with the logo here. So either we set a fixed size to this one, let's see, I'm not a CSS pro. think we can actually make this fixed. $118 pixel. That should work for now, I guess. Okay. So what did we do here? We added the logo. So very quickly, I want to create 2 commits here. Actually, this will break. Okay, so here in this first commit we just added all of this, everything related to the logo. And logo, and then the second commit. Okay, so okay, so actually here the link commit pre-commit hooks, they started complaining, so let me quickly fix this. Okay, that should work now. So I try to commit broken code, and if you saw the setup video, you may remember that we introduced git commit hooks with npm lint stage, I guess. So here lint staged, and we ESLint and prettier the files before committing. So now I try to commit broken code with a wrong closing tag, and the commit hooks stop me from doing so. And now I also want to move bottom menu. We can positions. Okay, so it looks like the first part of the navigation is done. Now we have the so we have 2 more things for the desktop navigation to do. One is the collapsing, and the other part is the highlighting the current item. So highlighting the current item, we have 2 options. Either the navigation handles this itself, or it gets a prop from the outside. So if it gets the prop from outside, we wouldn't need to handle this on each page. So we have the page components here, like this one, for example. We will add the navigation here, and then we need a hook outside the sidebar navigation. This would work fine, but it's like a bit of boilerplate for every page, of course, and we should not forget which one. Like we shouldn't forget to add this bit of boilerplate. It would be easier to use if the sidebar navigation handles this internally, but this would make it. I'm not sure if we can do that within a storybook then. Okay, let's first check how Next handles this. So Next.js and route or hook. Sure. So we have the router, use router. And then we have the path name query. Okay, so basically we would use the path name, and then depending on the path name, we would highlight the current item. So we need to define the routes here somewhere. We still use the placeholder links basically. We should probably define those in some config file or so. I'm not sure where to do that, but so let's create a config folder, and then we definitely need to clean this up at some point. And then we can so projects, for example, issues, alerts, users, and settings. Okay. These two won't have routes, but yeah, so now we should be able to import routes. Routes dot users, and then we have settings. Okay, so now we can use the use router hook and then get the path name, but this won't work. Oh, No, router. So this won't work here, probably because let's check. Would be a bit surprising if this works. Okay, it's just now. Yeah, so this would mean that we don't have access to the object. Let's check if we can mock these things like style component, not style component, storybook mocks, building pages. Okay. Mocking connected components. So I don't want to mock API, but this is really nice. So mock GraphQL queries with the MSW. This is mock service provider. It's a really nice tool to mock queries. It basically intercepts API requests, and you can send mock responses this way. But that's not what we want. Yeah, mocking imports. It's also possible to mock imports directly. Okay, we will use this is similar to Jest. So let's try this. And then inside mocks, I can. So this is next router. Okay. Next router. No, TSX export const use router. Function use router. Okay, and this just returns mock object. No, I guess path name. And this was just say issued. And also call it routes. Import routes from config/routes. Okay, can leave this as a TS file. Okay, relative import, and then pipeline routes.issues. So this would be proper. So we have the mock router. I guess that's also router object path name. Yeah. Now, how do we need to set up the mocks? Webpack Finder. Okay. To use the mock in place of the real import, we use Webpack aliasing. Okay. Okay, we also have the decorator. function decorator. I'm not sure how to type these here. Story, let's see. Parameters, I'm not sure if we need that, so where are we here? Okay. Fetch implementation. I'm not sure if we need that actually. Okay, now I get it. So basically this is we can set the parameters in the story, and then the mock will use the parameters. So basically we can instead of hard coding the where is the mock here? Instead of hard coding routes issues, we can customize that in the story. So let route, so we can basically do this, have a default here, dot issues. Now we return route, and then here parameters, this would be fetch JSON. Let's see if that's really, yeah. We can have route string, so type params. I guess pretty is not. Anyways, so params should be params. Sorry. Now I see what I'm doing wrong here. Or we do like this. Okay. And now we use parameters dot route, then route becomes okay. This is obviously not the story. I'm sure how to type this. Story FN. Not sure if this is. This is definitely not the right one. Let's check. Storybook decorator TypeScript. Decorators, okay, story. Let's see. Just to check the type. Yeah, so this works. So actually, it seems okay. Story. Story type, okay. So story, if we do this, it should be fine. Now I will need to rename this file again to tsx. Let's see. Okay. should be story. Which way? Maybe we should type this, I'm not sure. Okay, seems to be fine. And now let's see if the router actually returns something. Not yet. Let's refresh. I'm sure. No. So how do we debug this? We didn't add it, of course. So this whole thing didn't setup isn't finished yet. We need the mocks. Mocking parts, okay. So webpack final, storybook main.js. This is now mock route user router, isn't it? But actually next/router. Next/router.tsx. And then we also have, let's see, we have the decorator, and the decorator should be let's maybe call this actually mock router decorator. Doesn't have an exported. Okay. Still nothing. Let's see. Let's refresh this. Yes, there it is. Perfect. Okay, so now we can actually implement this in router, and then can add a prop here is active, and then router the path name equals menu item dot href. Could alternatively let the menu item link take care of this, but doesn't really matter, I guess. So the menu item link is active, boolean, and so how does that look like? The whole list item seems to be changed. So this one here, we have this color. So we pass the prop is active to the list item. The list item gets a prop here. This is now style components typed, and is active props is active. So background transparent. If it's not active, and if it's active, it should be this color. Okay. So now issues should be yes, perfect. Okay, and then finally, I guess there's the corners around it. So radius 6 pixel. Okay. Border radius 6 pixel. Okay. It still looks a bit different, I think. Maybe the font sizes are different. Maybe the spacing is not correct. Probably the spacing is not correct. Let's check the font size first. So 16 pixel, weight 500. And we have font family. Okay, doesn't change a thing. Font weight 500. So doesn't change a thing. I'm sure if this is actually working correctly, so. Font weight doesn't seem to matter at all. I will have to check that out. So, since like I'm not a designer, so I don't really see if something's wrong here or not. We can simply export this to be an PNG. Site nav PNG. And then we can use a neat little tool called Perfect Pixel. And I will drop the PNG here. So So we can see that there's actually quite some differences. So the logo is a bit different. I don't think this should be a big problem, but we can still move this a bit around, and then so it seems to be like 4 pixels off to the left, to the right, I mean. No. So did we properly align this? But the bigger problem are these here. So probably we need some, you remember the 13.5 pixels padding, maybe that's it. It doesn't seem to be the case actually. So this was a bit too much. So it seems like the spacing, the padding isn't completely correct. And we would also need some spacing between the items. Let's see if we can see that in the designs. So there seems to be 4 pixels. I'm not aiming to be completely pixel perfect here, but something close enough. So this, and then so margin, let's try that out. Pixel 0. So we can see that the so this bar is actually 80 pixel wide. Now let's check this one here. 312. Okay, so I guess we, because of the padding maybe. So now we're, yeah, okay, that's the padding. So I can also okay for that offset a bit too much at the moment. let's check this one. Margin 4 pixels. Okay, so the first one looks pretty good, projects. Then the next one doesn't anymore, but it seems like we can already add this one. Okay, list item. This here. So the next item is lower on the screen. This is also 41 pixel. So yeah, we have, I guess we had something like 50 pixel in height. So yeah, this comes a lot closer now. All right, so just let's try to get this really pixel perfect, and then can just still make smart adjustments. And then I guess the first let's see. Doesn't work. Yeah, so the first item shouldn't have a margin, or we remove the margin. There's, I guess, some, no, there's no padding. We can remove some margin from the image. So to make this like 20, for example. first chart, and then it's a bit embarrassing. Okay, so this should actually work. Oh, maybe this column. I'm not sure. I guess now it worked. Okay. For me, this is close enough. I will also use 12 pixel padding here, just because I don't think it's this seems more of a design fault. The 13 pixel padding here. We could also use fixed height, which might make more sense here. So we have a height of 51 pixel. Yeah, I'm not sure. One pixel, so and then we would also need to display flex and center. Okay. Okay, maybe this makes more sense then. But I'm still not very happy with the 51 pixel. Let's check the. So now this matches actually the design pretty well. Yeah, I will probably check later if we have a better standard height for this. So that's now 51. It's a bit curious that this is off. It looks a bit like the. It's not this. There's a problem with the icon. It doesn't really align with the rest, I suppose. It's an interesting glitch here. Like these little things can take hours to fix. But the image looks okay, in fact. I'm just not sure why it's not aligned properly. Seems okay in the anchor tag as well. Seems okay here in the list. This also has 12 pixel padding. Just 12 pixel padding. I'm not sure how much time I should invest in this. Probably not too much. What I would like to try is also to I'm here on the not even on the navigation. Okay, so this is better. I'd like to see now if the bottom also I'd say it's good enough. Okay, cool. Let me close this one. So what did we do? We added the mock and fix the styles. Yeah, should be okay. Highlights active menu item. Okay, and then finally we have this behavior that we collapse the bar. So basically it seems like we hide the text, replace this one, and then we also have the arrow here which collapses. Let's see. So what do we need to implement this behavior? We need a state. So we can use simple state here in the sidebar navigation, and then hook this up to the onClick handler. I'm not really sure what happens when we navigate between two pages, so we should also test that. So maybe we need to do this differently, but we can do a quick test. So use route and then collapsed. Initially this should be false. Now if the navigation might actually be enough to just set the width of the whole thing. So collapsed. And add this again as a prop to the navigation bar. And here again typing collapse boolean, and now let's see. I have to check if this was correct. So this has 82, yes, okay. Now let's see. Okay, something's broken here probably. But it's not that. But we can quickly do this. So actually, I think it's better to rename this to be is collapsed everywhere. Now we can also, nothing bad will happen, I guess, if we do this. Using a function here would be beneficial if we have really fast interactions. I guess it doesn't really matter here. Okay, let's see. Just make this true as initial state. Now this is actually, I guess, a bit wider because of the padding. So we have 82, but this is 32 pixels of padding. So we would make it 50. Okay. And this looks already quite close to the design. We would now hide the text here, exchange the logo, and then also move this. So that means we also need to inform our menu item link. Or alternatively, let's see. So we have two options. One is passing down the prop. Or we can also export this style component and import that in the styled navigation. That was one of my thoughts, but actually the text here is not styled style component. So let's just add a prop here is collapsed. And then we can do like this. And then menu item button, we need to do the same in the okay, this is a bit annoying, of course. Collapsed. Let's do this for now. And then also add the same here. If we wanted to avoid some prop drilling here, we could also use a context. But honestly, I don't think it's necessary, so it's just one element. Just like this. Okay. Okay, cool. And then the final thing is to exchange the logo. So here we have the source. We can say is collapsed be there. So we would use small here. And then, let's see, there might be a better option for this, but 23. I think if we imported these as components, the SVG files, then we wouldn't have this problem, yes. But for now we're here, so let's see, 118 pixels for the big one and 23 for the small. This now ties the logo to like the SVG file, the size of the SVG file to the styles, which is not so cool. Okay, I also forgot to add this prop here. Just to double check, let's export this as well. So this was side nav collapsed. And so this yeah, it looks pretty okay. Of course, like there's maybe a slight, but good enough, I'd say. Perfect. Then we have the collapsed version of the navigation bar as well. Now the final thing that I would like to test is how it behaves on page when we transition from one page to the other. So let's do, actually let's add a few test pages here. Index, no, this is issues. So now these two actually exist. Now we have routes /issues and /projects. So these are two of the menu items here in the navbar. Set collapse is false at first. And then issues, let's see, okay, highlighting works. Now let's collapse this thing and then navigate to somewhere else. Okay, yeah. So this is of course a problem. So what happens is during the page navigation, these will the pages will re-render, and because the sidebar navigation is rendered here inside the page itself, the state is also reset. So I'm thinking now how to fix this. So probably something like a context be good. More of a global state solution. So with this folder structure, let's do a commit first, and then we can still figure it out. Navbar collapsible. So now with this folder structure, we would probably add a contexts folder, and then navigation TS. Not using context too often, so let me check the docs again. We're clear. So we use the examples again. Let's do it. So default value would be sidebar collapsed false. Oops. Okay, now we also need the provider. I guess my brain is a bit fried already. So I guess export function, and then should be a navigation provider equals and then we have navigation context provider, and then children. So children is a prop here. Let's type navigation context provider props. Long name, but yeah. And our children React.node. Let's also do React context. So now we have it typed, and now we need the state in the context. So we'll use this one. And right here. Maybe like this. And now value equals. Now we will have is collapsed and also set collapsed. Okay, sidebar collapsed. So actually this should be the wrong type. Cool. I'm not sure where dispatch comes from. Use state. I'm not sure if this is sub action. Ah, okay. Now this makes sense, of course. I didn't define the type here, but let's see, type navigation context type, and this should be sidebar collapse boolean. Okay. So now we have the navigation context provider, and we can wrap this somewhere, maybe in the app here. So navigation provider, we can remove the fragment, and then we can use the use context here in the hook, and use the navigation context here. Let's see. Okay, I guess it's still. So again, the sidebar collapsed, not so nice. Let's rename this to this sidebar collapsed. This collapsed, and then this collapsed. We could also actually toggle sidebar navigation, and we don't have to handle this here. Do that in a bit. And then let's call this toggle sidebar navigation, and then this would actually be just like this. Okay, so now toggle sidebar navigation is actually taking care of the handling the state. This is just a function now, so I'm not sure if we actually need to type this anymore. Don't think so. That word is not. No. Okay, that's actually much easier. So what this does is it's keeping track of the state here inside the context. Then it exposes is sidebar collapsed and the toggle sidebar navigation. Maybe we could actually rename this to a toggle sidebar now. F2. Since this is also a sidebar. And then let's rename this as well. Okay, so now when we move to, yeah, perfect. So we don't really need these two pages. I'll just leave them here. Persists sidebar state during navigating. Should be clear enough. Okay, again, a little problem. Okay, so this was the linter again. Let's see. Okay. Okay, perfect. So now we're basically done with the, no, there's one thing that's left. It's the arrow here. Maybe I will leave that as an exercise actually. Yeah, why not? This could be an exercise for the job simulator. I will track this here as a bug. So usually, let's assume we already merged this into production, and then this slipped QA, so nobody noticed. So now we would open a bug ticket and just say like sidebar navigation collapse button arrow. Let's see. Sidebar navigation should point to the right and collapse. Okay, I will just quickly log this as a bug here. Okay, so if this is interesting to you, and this might be one of your first onboarding tasks,